March is Endometriosis Awareness Month. Endometriosis is a condition that affects millions of women across the country, but often goes undiagnosed for years. Our Logan Riggenbaugh joins us live in the studio with what patients need to know and where they can get help. Good evening, Logan.
1 in 10 women in the United States is estimated to have endometriosis, a chronic condition where tissue similar to the lining of the uterus grows outside of it. But despite how common it is, many women wait years before ever getting a diagnosis.
Endometriosis is a chronic condition, mostly affecting females, that the lining of the uterus actually grows on the outside. So it can be on the uterus, fallopian tubes, ovaries, but it can be found on different organs in the body as well.
Pelvic pain is the most common symptom, but because it can mimic other conditions, getting to the root cause isn't always straightforward. Edgar says the average time between a patient's first symptoms and a formal diagnosis can range from 4 to 11 years.
I think it can be because it's something that the way we diagnose is through something called a laparoscopy, where we actually have to look inside the abdomen, and then definitely dismissal. I think that there can be, again, a lot of conditions that can affect the pelvis. You know, it can be something where women are told like, oh, not a big deal, you know, something, just kind of deal with it.
That delay in diagnosis takes a real toll. Edgar says untreated endometriosis can lead to depression, missed work and school, and in some cases, fertility challenges, all because pain that isn't visible is sometimes not taken seriously.
I think mental health, it can cause a lot of depression. It can also affect their ability to go to work, you know, go to school, you know, do their typical like day-to-day activities, because pain can be so debilitating.
The good news, treatment options do exist, including hormonal therapy, non-hormonal options, and surgical management. And Edgar says awareness is growing, both among providers and patients.
I think social media in that sense is positive. I think it's kind of helping women be aware, things to watch for, and then kind of opening the conversation with their providers if they have any concern for those things.
For those experiencing symptoms, Edgar says the first step is speaking up, whether that's a primary care doctor, an OB/GYN, or an endometriosis specialist.
Here at Memorial Health System, we have many providers that are able to diagnose, treat, and manage endometriosis for the patients in our community.
Symptoms of endometriosis include chronic pelvic pain, painful periods, and pain during intercourse. If you or someone you know has been experiencing those symptoms, doctors say don't wait. Advocate for yourself and ask your provider about endometriosis. That's all I have. Back to you.
Thank you, Logan. And Memorial Health System says patients can reach out to their OB/GYN or primary care provider to start the conversation. For more information about National Endometriosis Awareness Month, head to our website at WTAP.com.